And joining me now with perspective from Beijing on the U.S. President's comments, I'm joined by Zhou Jingxing. He is a former political counselor at the Chinese Embassy in the United States. Welcome to the show. I want to begin by asking you your reaction. You know, China is voicing major opposition to Obama's comments to the disputed islands in the East China Sea. What is your take on these comments, and what has been the view of Chinese officials?
Well, I think that there are 2 points in the president's remarks that are worth our attention, and especially attention from the Chinese people. So I'm actually talking not only as an official, but also as an ordinary Chinese citizen, because this is also a view shared by many Chinese people. 2 points. First one is that the president says something to the effect that the United States does not take position on the sovereignty issue, and that the security arrangement between the United States and Japan should be applicable to the Diaoyu Island. And the second point the president makes in Japan is that the United States encouraged the peaceful rise of China. And I think on the first point, the Chinese government has already made its opposition to the applicability, to any indication of the applicability of the security arrangement between Japan and the United States to the Diaoyu Island. And I think the common sense here is that because the United States has made very clear it takes no position on the sovereignty issue, and that commitment should be honored and should be matched with action and also words. And also we believe that the United States is such an important player in the world, and it should have the sense of responsibility to the sensitive issues in this region, and it should make decisions on relevant international and regional issues based on the merits and demerits of that matter concerned, rather than based on its relationship with a certain country, in this case with the alliance with another country. And the second message that the president talks about in Japan is, as I said, encouragement of China's peaceful rise. And I think that is a recognition of the importance of China in Asia Pacific and also in the world around. And I think that many people here also interpret this as a kind of message to the Japanese leader that Japan should not try to make use of the United States in dealing with the set of territorial disputes with China.
So, if there was ever a major conflict in the East China Sea, what would happen to U.S.-China relations if the U.S. acted on its words and came to Tokyo's defense? And what would happen to China-Japan relations?
Well, regretfully, I'm not a prophet. I'm not a man from the future. I cannot predict what is going to happen next, but there's one thing I can be sure of. China-U.S. relationship is a very important bilateral relations in today's world, and China attaches great importance to it. And I think likewise the United States and indeed many countries in the world also take this bilateral relationship very seriously. So it is in everybody's interest to have a good relationship between China and the United States. It serves not only the interests of China and the United States, but also the whole world. And based on my 9+ years of working experience in Washington, D.C., I feel that there is a common consensus in the political parties in the United States and also at the grassroots level for a better relations between China and the U.S. So I think that this relationship right now is in good shape, and it is moving in the right direction on the whole. And of course, we have differences. But I think over the years, we have always had differences. And the differences have always been addressed one way or another with cooperation and coordination and consultation between two sides. So I think what China and the United States should do next is to continue to give full play to what I call the spirits that they have made this bilateral relationship what it is today. That is the spirit of cooperation, the spirit of creativity, and the spirit of responsibility. As for the relations between China and Japan, and of course China pursues a policy that is aimed at to build a good neighborhood surrounding China. And of course, naturally, we also want to have a very good relationship with Japan. And but the point right now, the crux of the issue right now is that the territorial disputes between China and Japan, and also between Japan and some other countries in this region. And also the Japanese attitude toward historical issues. And that is not only a bilateral issue. Actually, it is also a multilateral issue. It is an issue between Japan and a number of its Asian neighbors. So I think that it is up to the Japanese government to make the initiative to improve its relations with its neighbors in Asia, in the Asia Pacific region. And the ball is now on the court of the Japanese side.
Okay, we'll have to see what happens. Mr. Zhou Jingxing, former political counselor at the Chinese embassy in the U.S. We thank him for that.